We'll start with an opening statement from Coach.
The road to these tournaments, I was telling the team, it looks easy because sometimes we have a tendency to make it look easier than it really is, but the amount of work that goes into what we try to do and how we do it, that's kind of the reward that you get is being able to play in this game and win a game like this. And I thought it was appropriate that we played Creighton because they're a terrific team and had a great year up to this point. And I just have a lot of admiration for their team, and those seniors on that team have been through a lot and have accomplished a lot and had incredible careers. And I'm sure that they're going to get somebody that everybody thinks they're not going to get in the NCAA tournament. I'm convinced of that. So congrats to Coach Flan and those kids and the rest of their team. But our guys were pretty darn good defensively, and we were really, really good offensively when we needed to be. So we need a couple of days off right now, and it's going to be it's going to be fun thinking back on this.
We'll take questions for the student athletes. Please wait for the microphone and state your name and affiliation before your first question. No questions.
All right, thank you.
Doug, we'll go to Doug.
That was a sick duck. Oh, you were kidding?
Doug, go ahead.
Doug Farmer, the AP. Paige, you accomplished something that no other UConn player or any player has done, being a 3-time Big East most outstanding player. What does that mean to you, and what does it mean going to the NCAA tournament with your team, for the most part, being healthy for probably one of the first times in your career?
Yeah, it's very cool. It's hard to do something that's never been done at UConn before. I feel like everything's been accomplished. So I'm grateful and blessed. But it's really a team achievement, a team award, a testament to the coaching staff, my teammates, who do a whole bunch for me. So I'm able to go out there and perform alongside of them. And I feel like we're heading in the right direction with our momentum heading into the tournament. Obviously, we have some time off before tournament play starts, and so we want to continue to keep getting better, maximize on the practice days that we'll have to prepare, and keep getting healthy, keep getting better, and continue to have more reps of what we need to get better at.
We'll go to Maggie in the second row.
Maggie Benoni, CT Insider. Azzi, what's it like just playing with Sarah and Paige? And what makes the three of you guys, when you're all clicking, so dangerous?
Playing with them is incredibly fun. I mean, playing with people who just know how to play basketball, who can do just about everything on the court, it makes it so easy to play with because, I mean, any look you get is going to be a good one, and they're so selfless as well that if they're not open, they're kicked. They have so much trust in not just me, but our whole team that, every shot's a good one, every pass is a good one. I mean, they, like I said, they can do everything, so it makes it so much fun to play with and so easy to play with as well.
Carl
Adam at Crust Media. Paige, how would you describe quote unquote postseason Paige? What happens to turn you on to handle the pressure and how you handle the big situations like you have through 5 years?
I think just a sense of urgency. Obviously knowing that for this, like it's one loss and you're done. It's the same way for this tournament as it is the next. So your sense of urgency rises, your attention to detail rises, but you want to lean back on the details and the preparation you've had throughout the entire regular season. But obviously everybody wants to play their best in the most important part of the season, and to have confidence in that, to have faith in that, and continue to practice and give it your all, leave nothing out on the floor, and play with your heart, play with passion, and have fun. So.
front row, Dom.
Yeah, if Paige and Azzi could both kind of speak to this, but what's different about this year's team going into the tournament? What, is it a different kind of momentum
than you've had in the past, a different kind of cohesion. What do you guys have this year that maybe you haven't had in the past?
I think depth is a huge one. Our ability to play with different lineups, go big, go small, have people available off the bench that can contribute and do great things for the team. So having different lineups, meshing together in practice, throwing different people out there with different groups, different lineups, I think is something that's been different this season.
Back row.
Does it have a different feel than it's on the past?
I have the same answer. I think depth is huge.
Emily?
Emily Adams, Hartford Current. Paige, it felt like these last two games were the most animated we've seen you in a while, just, cheering, getting in people's faces a little bit. Do you deliberately kind of bring that part of yourself out at this time of year, or does it just kind of come in these big moments?
There's an emphasis on me having fun during this last postseason run, just enjoying it, just embracing it. I love playing with this team. I love playing at UConn. I love playing in these environments, so I wanted to show up more and enjoy it more and not feel the pressure, play with pressure, but just play with joy.
We'll go to Mark in the back.
Hey, Mark Robbins, Channel 3. Sarah, your first postseason experience, what were you told? How were you prepared? Did everything live up to what you expected? Maybe even better?
It's great to win. I feel like I don't really think about it too much. That it's a championship game. I just try to keep my same mentality for every other game.
Back row left.
This for Paige. I know it's kind of a way back part of tonight. It probably wasn't even on your mind, but just you were AAU teammates with Mallory and Lauren going way back to the Minnesota days. What was it like just, playing for a championship with, players you go way back with for your final Big East game?
Yeah, I played with and against a lot of those people on the team, and we have great relationships, obviously competing tonight for a championship, but just to see where we were, just see how far we've came and how we're living out our dreams, playing basketball for a Big East championship at an extremely high level. Both teams are ranked. Both teams are great. So just to see us fulfill and live out our dreams that we talked about since we've been little is really rewarding.
Front row left, Roger.
Easy. Coaches talked almost every year about how difficult it is to play against Creighton because they run such great offense, yet you guys shut them down time and time again. Can you just talk about the connectivity of your defense or what it is that makes you capable of shutting down a good offense like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Coach said, their offense it's super good and well run, and I think that defense has been a key for us all season, and so playing them is always a challenge, but a really good test for us, especially going in to the rest of March, to kind of get our defense and our communication and our just chemistry and togetherness locked down tight. And I think that showed tonight. We did a really good job. Obviously things that we need to fix and clean up, but for the most part, I was really proud of how well we did in our communication on all levels.
Second row on the right.
Daniel Connolly, the UConn blog. Paige, you've now been here for 5 Big East tournament celebrations. Was this one any different? Did it feel a little more muted or upbeat, or was there a difference compared to the previous 4?
I don't really feel a difference. Probably a little bit more bittersweet because I know it's my last time playing here, last time playing in the Big East. So probably just that feeling, but an overwhelming sense of gratitude, joy, and a rewarding feeling.
Front row right, Carl.
Carl Adam at Crest Media. Azzi, last year you didn't play in the NCAA tournament. Just tell me about your excitement level of being able to go to the tournament again, and when the selection show on Sunday comes up, what will you look for as a basketball fan, besides, where you're going and who you might be playing?
I mean, even just the Big East tournament, I didn't play in it last year, so being here, I haven't played here in 2 years, so my goal this year was kind of take nothing for granted, be grateful for every moment I get on the floor, and so just being here was so special, and getting to win this year, because last year I remember how it feels, and it's not fun not being able to be out there with your teammates, and it's fun to celebrate your teammates, but it's different when you're out on the floor with them, so this just this whole weekend has been really, really incredible. So I haven't even really looked forward to next weekend, but I am super excited to see where we land. And I mean, I believe in this team so much, so I think that wherever we go, obviously it's exciting to find out, but I'm not worried about where we go, who we're up against. I have so much confidence in this team, and I can't wait to keep playing with them.
Second row, Mackie.
Maggie Benoni, CT Insider. Sarah, what have you learned from playing with Paige and Azzi? I know you still have the NCAA tournament to go, but what have you learned so far this season from playing with them?
One thing I learned is like confidence is really important. I feel like both of them carry like each other with like great confidence, and it's really important to play basketball with.
Azzi, Sarah, Paige, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach. We'll go to Dom in the front row.
Don Memori, Hartford Current. Geno, I know Azzi didn't think much of the question, but I'll ask you. What's different as you go into this tournament? I know obviously you've got Sarah, you didn't have her before. Paige and Azzi playing together, didn't have that before. A little more depth, obviously, a lot more depth than you've had before. What gives you confidence that this is a different team going into?
Well, first of all, I hope everybody was able to catch how much information these guys gave you and how fast they were talking. So hopefully you recorded it. They're the most boring interviewees I've ever been around in my life. And you can imagine coaching them, because that's basically what I get when I ask them stuff. You can't underestimate, and you alluded to it, you can't underestimate the change in personnel, right? How much that means. Because last year, let's take that for instance, and the year before, you're going into the NCAA tournament with your fingers crossed, hoping that nothing else happens, because you're just so used to one setback after another, that it almost felt like you're operating on borrowed time, that you're just waiting for that last shoe to fall. And you knew that your margin for error was so slight, so narrow. And it's hard to get players to play at a real high level and not understand we can't foul, we can't turn the ball over, we can't miss shots, we have to do everything perfectly. And this year, I think the sense is we can handle more things that are thrown at us. We maybe have answers to some of the things that we didn't have last year. Obviously, we don't have the same level of experience that we had last year. We didn't have a Nika, we don't have an Aaliyah that's played all the basketball that they played. Azzi hasn't played hardly any basketball, and Sarah's a freshman, and Jenna's a freshman, and so we don't have quite the experience that some of those guys had. But what we do have is the ability that if the game's not going in our direction, that we can change it. That's comforting to know that. That doesn't mean we're going to change it, but we have the opportunity to change it. So you're always excited for the NCAA tournament, but some years, you're hoping and praying. This year, you still have that. But it's not as dire, not as crucial as it was last year.
Stay in the front row, Alexa.
Geno, 30 conference tournament crowns. Your players weren't around to see all those or know what that really means, but for you, what does it take to have that consistency and to be able to reach that threshold?
I mean, it's pretty sad that, we won more tournaments for longer than they've all been alive. That's hard to actually even make that statement, because I was asked, as a matter of fact, my daughter was, after the game, she said, was Megan the first Big East championship? Was she on the first Big East championship team? I said, yes. And she's in the building. And, there's, Kalina Green was around last night. There's generations that can all share in all these conference tournaments that they happened, in the 80s and the 90s and 2010s and 20s. So that consistency, that ability to keep doing that with all the changing players and the changing times and all the other things that are happening. I think we have obviously really good players. I don't think anybody wins without really good players. And we've been fortunate to get, terrific players for 30 years. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about this subject. But at the same time, I think we have a culture, we have a belief system in our program that this is the expectation. I truly believe that the higher you set expectations, the closer you get to achieving those. And we have tremendously high expectations. Every year, those never go away. And some years you fall short, but most times we don't. I like the fact that whenever we've had the best team, we win. And when we've not had the best team, we don't win. So that's it's not guaranteed to UConn.
Front row, Doug.
Geno Paige has accomplished something tonight that no other player's ever done, albeit Stewie was in the other conference with you guys when she was at the school.
Yeah.
But to have her be the only player to win three most outstanding players in the Big East, what does that mean? And to her overall legacy, I mean, you've said before that the standard at the school is very, very high. Is her legacy going to be defined a little bit in the next 6 games you guys potentially have?
Well, I think Sarah should have got it. I mean, I'm just saying that because somebody will write it, she'll hear it, she'll read it, and then I'll have to deal with it, which will be fun. I think it's funny that you mentioned that because I always go into this tournament, if we have the player of the year, I always think someone else is going to win it because it's happened so many times where someone just rises up and just has an unbelievable tournament. I mean, it's happened to us a lot. Fortunately, we've had those kinds of players. So I'm always expecting who's going to be that other person. And that's why I was saying about Sarah. Paige is so good and she does so many things. But in another time, in another year, the things that Sarah did would be player, most valuable player, most outstanding player in the tournament. That's how you win this tournament. You need more contributions from more people. But Paige is steady. She's consistent. And she games generally when we need her to play her best games. This is quite an achievement by her. This conference has been around a long time. So, it's quite an accomplishment.
A legacy,
Yeah. In the Big East, there's Shelley Pennyfather, I think, was the first great superstar, and then Carrie Bascom was. There have been others, but Paige certainly is going to be on that list of who the best players ever in the Big East.
Second row, right.
Geno, you've been saying that you wanted Sarah to play like she's one of the best players in the country. Did you see her take any steps forward with that this weekend?
I thought the third period today, maybe the first 5-6 minutes of that third period, I thought you saw something you haven't seen yet this year. And that's what I was talking about, that if we can get that mindset, that feeling, in the next tournament that we play in, that actually we're going to need that. If we want to win the games that I think we need to win, we're going to need Sarah to be exactly like she was this weekend, and especially like she was in the third quarter. I mean, you look at her stat line, right? 13 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 steals, and 3 blocks. I mean, who does that? Only the MVP. You know.
We'll go to Emily.
Don't worry, she's listening. She's listening. Paige is listening.
Paige talking about playing with more joy, having more fun during this run. Did you see that from her this weekend? And
Yeah.
when she has that energy, do you see it kind of spread to everybody else as well?
Yeah. And if you think about it, when anytime a team was making a run, you know, that's where we went. That's where we looked to. You know, we knew that if we put the ball in Paige's hands, something good was going to happen. And the coaches talk about it all the time on the bench, that whenever we get a little bit stale on offense, we're going to go to that 2-man game with Paige and Sarah, and something's going to click, something's going to happen. And when she plays free and clear, and you know, there's a lot of pressure on her. There's a lot of demands on her from a lot of different sources. It's a heavy weight to carry around everywhere you go, and it can be, you know, it can be demoralizing at times. And no matter what you do, more is expected from you. So, for her to be able to constantly come up with these kind of performances time and time again, you know, she just has that thing that those kinds of players have.
Second row, Maggie.
I feel like all season Paige, Sarah, and Azzi have kind of taken turns having great games, whether it was 2 of them or 1 of them. But this weekend, all 3 kind of hit their stride in all 3 games. Do you feel like their chemistry is set at all-time high right now, the fact that they're all playing together and having good games consistently?
Yeah, I do. I believe that all 3 of them do a lot to help each other. They, I think, probably Azzi's the biggest beneficiary of all, because when you've got to pay so much attention to, you know, Paige and Sarah and what they're doing with the ball, people maybe get a little bit sidetracked and they're not quite sure, like, am I supposed to help over here? Am I supposed to help guard these 2 guys? Can I play, you know, and they make a mistake and boom, you know, Azzi's got a wide open 3 or, so the 3 of them pretty much do what they're really, really good at. And we need them. I mean, Azzi didn't score in the second half today. That probably, you know, the first half she was unbelievably good. And, you know, going to the next tournament, we have to find a way to have all 3 of them be consistently good the entire game. We're going to need that. There's been a couple times where, you know, all 3 of them have played great, but we're going to need all 3 of them to play great every one of those games that we're going to play.
Anthony, back row.
Coach, Caitlin Chin had 5 turnovers tonight. From your perspective, was it the Creighton defense, or was she maybe pushing it a little bit more, trying to create?
Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled with our guards. You know, we have been playing games where we had 4 turnovers, 5 turnovers, halves with no turnovers. So sometimes, you know, when the games mean as much as they mean today, players get a little bit anxious to do some things, and they get a little bit ahead of themselves, get a little careless. So, yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about that. But those are things that we can fix for sure. And I didn't like the fact that, you know, we had 17 turnovers, and I do think that Creighton's defense is a little bit underrated, because they are a very good defensive team. Their offense gets a lot of notoriety, but you know, they're a very good defensive team, and they put a lot of pressure on our guards. You know, both Caitlin and KK were under a lot of pressure the entire game.
Stay in the back row, back left.
I apologize for shifting gears, but what is it about the Creighton prep what is that like in a tournament setting, in a weekend setting where it's a short turnaround and you kind of have to go through things that makes it difficult?
Well, luckily, this is the third time that we played them, right? So we didn't have to do a whole lot of anything different than what we've been doing. For a team that's going to play them, let's say they play Saturday, Monday. Let's say they win Saturday. And now you have one day to prepare for them Sunday, for Monday. This is the same group of kids that went to the Final 8 and had a chance to go to the Final 4. So they know how to play in big games. It is hard to prepare for them. You know, they know each other so well. They move without the ball really well. Today they didn't shoot the ball great, but when they've got those things going, I think they can beat any team in the country if they're able. And again, they're a lot like us in that sense. We've got to make a lot more threes than the other team. So do they. But I know I wouldn't. Believe me, I was hoping Georgetown would win that game. Not no disrespect to Georgetown, but in some ways, because I knew it would be a headache to play them. But in the end, you want to play them because it makes it more worthwhile to play that team tonight. But whoever's playing them in the tournament, they're going to have their hands full, for sure.
Front row, Roger.
Geno, what is it about your defense right now that allows you to play a very good offensive team like that and shut them down? Is it connectivity? Is it the small lineup?
Tanya thinks that I hate my defense. Not mine, my team's defense. She thinks I don't have enough respect for our defense because I'm always complaining about what we're not doing. But what we are doing is the scouting report is being followed. So like Tanya had a great scouting report today, and we were pretty locked in on, you know, what we're trying to do, what the game plan is. And that's been really, you know, we play hard, yes. We have a small lineup, we can switch everything, yes. But at the end of the day, if you're not a smart defensive team, teams like that are going to kill you. And I think, you know, today, I mean, that first half, it was really, really hard for them to get anything done. And it's been like that because I think we're really locked in right now. We're playing really good as a team. Our team defense has been really good. But, you know, it comes and goes too. You know, keep your fingers crossed.
Front row, right, Carl.
Geno, do you think Paige, if you look back where she was, say, a year ago, having played so many minutes before even playing in the NCAA tournament, 22 coming off the knee injury, and then 21 the bubble, is she in maybe the best spot she's been in headed to the NCAA tournament in her career? What do you think?
I think she's healthier. She's put a lot of work in. The experience that she's had playing in the tournament, I think, certainly helps. Less wear and tear on her body for sure. This past season, we were able to rest her, which we weren't able to do last year. She has a different cast of characters around her this year than she's had previous years. Every year that she's been in the tournament, we've been at a disadvantage in terms of missing someone that was really key for our team. In some cases, 2 or 3. So this is the first time we're going into the tournament with most of the key pieces intact. And I think that's a great place for us to be in, and it's a great place for her to be in.